I wanted to speak about a man that we just discovered quite serendipitously. His name is Monty Roberts, and he was often referred to as a horse whisperer. When he was growing up, his father was a horse breaker, and Monty really didn't like the force and the power over the horse that his father used. And he wondered if there might be a kinder, more respectful way of forming a connection with the horse. And he went out into the wild and he observed wild horses and he observed their behavior. And he discovered that the herd was organized by a brood mare. And if any of the young horses were misbehaving, she would shoo them out of the herd, keep them at their distance, ostracize them, keep them away until they were ready to behave, and then she'd let them back in. And he noticed this recurrently in a herd of wild horses, shooing the horse away. So he came back and organized a circular enclosure. And he would stand at the center of the circular enclosure, and a horse that had had nothing to do with human beings previously would be led in to this enclosure. And Monty Roberts used a long length of rope, and he would flick the rope behind the horse to keep it moving and to keep it away from him. It was not a whip. It was not a way of forcing, but he kept the horse moving around and around the enclosure and kept the horse away from him, just like the broodmare did. And he noticed, again, without any explanation, he noticed that after that, he'd been doing that for a time, several minutes, there was a recurrent behavior that he was able to observe. The horse, after that time, would lower its head, would move, would alter the direction of its head towards him, and would begin chewing. As soon as he noticed this behavior, he dropped the rope, turned his back on the horse, and just stood there. And seeing a video of this, it's just extraordinary that when he did that, within minutes, that horse would move from the periphery of the circular enclosure, come right up behind his back, about a meter away. And then he could walk in a straight line or zigzag, and this horse would follow his movements. It's really a touching experience. It's so so unexpected, so surprising. And within a number of minutes, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, he would having made that connection with the horse, having allowed that horse to connect with him, within 10 or 15 minutes, he was able to put a saddle on that horse and ride it peacefully with no force, no violence. And he did this with any number of horses. And in this lovely DVD, there are several examples of how he did that. And it's just remarkable to watch. Queen Elizabeth invited him to come over to London and to train the horses in the Royal Guard. But his attitude, beginning with not knowing following up then with being willing to observe what horses did left to be horses, allowed him to respond to that in a way that the horse could make the approach. And it was such a remarkable discovery. And I think it's pretty well mainstream now. But in relation to Monty Roberts and the horses, what I found is that it really affirmed what I'd learned from Erickson about not using force, about connecting someone with the resources, with their own innate performance, behavior, preferences. And so my invitation is to have some kind of wondering about what it is that Monty Roberts did that we could do and that could be a benefit to our clients and for our practice. So thank you for listening to this, and let's see what can evolve from this attitude. Thank you.